Okay, where is the best place to live? Well, I'm going to tell you that, at least my opinion. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? Kelly and I are headed back into town from a friend's house, from some friends' houses, and headed back in to pick up our daughter from dance. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show you why I suggest the exurbs are the best place to live. And I've made my case for the suburbs, and there are those who like living way out in the country. Not my preference, for a number of reasons. Nothing wrong with those who like that. I'm not putting them down. So I want to put in a gentle request here, as I always get people coming on whenever I talk about any place else except living way out in the boonies, and tell me what an idiot I am and how I'm all wet and they would no more live in wherever. Hey, just resist that. That kind of shows, it's impolite, and it doesn't serve any want to live, and that's fine with me. But the exurbs are where I suggest people ought to look. As a matter of fact, now Kelly and I don't live out here, although we've looked at property out here. And we are talking about in the next few years moving out closer to here for a number of reasons. A couple of them, and then I'm just going to let you see the drive. Number one, when you're too far out, you're too far for some of those vital services that may be very important to you before a collapse. And here's the thing, guys. The collapse hasn't happened, and it may not happen in your lifetime or in your kid's lifetime. And although it's important to think about that and prepare for it, and if you've read my books, you know how much I've put into that. You also have to be able to live well in the world of today, and also to take advantage of all the opportunities the modern world has to offer. And if you take yourself too far beyond that, and if you want to Jeremiah Johnson it or homesteading or anything like that, there's not a darn thing wrong with it. But there are some potential downsides to it. And so, as I say, the distance from important services like ambulance, fire, and police. Now out here, and you're going to see how close we are into the suburbs, and that's why I'm taking you on this drive. Your house catches on fire, you're probably out of luck. And now some of these people have on-site fire suppression systems, and that's a good idea when you're out here. Of course, you have to have the money for it, and money goes into preparedness. And here again, I'm going to get people coming on and saying, well, I don't have all the money for fire suppression. Okay, fine. I'm not putting you down for not having it, so don't put other people down for having it. But other than fire, we have a large sheriff department, very large sheriff department. It's a large county. It's an affluent county. Another thing that I suggest: live the best place you can live. Okay, the better places are safer. Simply put, they are safer. And we have a very large sheriff's department, very well equipped, very well trained, with a very conservative sheriff. They are very responsive to the needs of the citizens. You want to see something cool? Look off there, and to where they've made these. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'm going too fast. They have sculpted things out of tree trunks. That's kind of cool. I tell you what, I envy the people who have that kind of talent. But as far as law enforcement services, emergency medical services, those things are a lot closer to you here than way out in the country or even a small town. It's just a fact. And many people have lost their lives or lost, a lot of brain or heart function because they didn't get to the hospital. They didn't get to critical care in that golden hour. And as long as we're still in good times, that is very important, especially the older you get, or the crazier kids you have. You know, yeah, out there in the woods, things can happen. I cut my knee with a chainsaw when I was 15 years old, and they were glad to be able to get me to a hospital pretty quick. So I'm going to let you just kind of enjoy the ride for a minute, and but you still have the solitude. And I'm not blocking out the street signs that tell anybody who is a big enough nut to come on and try to look at street signs and say, oh, where was he coming from? Well, you know, just don't worry about it. I mean, really, settle down. OPSEC, dude. So anyway, we're, as you can see, we're pretty close to a highway. Now, there's a couple places around here that, if I explained them to you, are settings for a couple of settings in my books, the Stone Moss series. As a matter of fact, I think in my second book, if I'm not mistaken, the Revival, there were a couple of locations right here. Now, if you're wondering where Stonemont is, I'm not gonna tell you. Well, I'll give you an idea. It's about 10 miles from here. And you'd never find it anyway. Okay, now coming onto the highway, do you see that big building up there on the horizon, dead ahead over this ramp? That is a large hospital with an emergency room and all the other stuff. Okay, so here we are, we're way out, nobody's coming to get you. The Golden Hordes, which I know have been the big scare since, what was his name? The guy that started all this Golden Horde business. Oh man, it's back in the 60s. I don't remember his name. Some of you probably will. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave comments on this one. Like I say, whenever I make one like this and I allow comments on YouTube, I just get too many weirdos leaving weird comments. I will, of course, leave comments open on Patreon. So if you're with us on Patreon, that's a whole different community over there on Patreon. They're polite, they're nice, they're smart, they're cooperative. They help each other. They're all that, and we got a lot of great people on YouTube as well. It's just that we got a lot of morons that stop by. They just stop by to say stupid stuff, and I don't have the time or the inclination to go back and pull all those weeds. That's why sometimes I just don't allow comments anymore on the I almost said Yahoo. Well, there are a lot of Yahoos on YouTube Yahoos. But hey, if you're not with us on Patreon, come on over. The link's down below. Cost you $1 a month, and you get a lot more. Anyway, there is a large hospital, Advent Health. If you come up here, if we were going to get off this exit, there's a Walmart Supercenter to the right, a Quick Trip, Taco Bell, an Aldi, a whole bunch of other stuff. And off to the left, a bunch of our favorite restaurants. Andy's Custard is over there. Red Door Burgers and stuff is over there. A huge and great supermarket, and a bunch of other really, really great things over there. You know, there's a lot to be said for the built-up areas. There really are. And it's the amenities, the conveniences. The conveniences allow you to spend more of your time doing other things, whether it's concentrating on your business or being creative or whatever. It's just the life in built-up areas can be very, very positive, as I'm sure many of you know. And mainly what this is for, the purpose of this video is, I know there are a lot of people out there wanting to relocate for strategic reasons, right? I did one not long ago on strategic relocation. What was the guy's name that did the big book on strategic relocation? He goes into real detail. Is Skousen, I think? Been a long time since I read his book, and I didn't really read the whole thing. I skimmed it. A lot of good ideas, but I wasn't interested in relocating, so I didn't really, go into depth on it. But I know there are a lot of people out now. There's more and more people getting involved in preparedness than ever before, for all the different reasons. The shortages and distrust of what's going on in the world, and it's a shaky world. So this is the main reason that I'm making this one, is to tell people, you do have a lot of people telling you, move out to the country, move up, and I just want to let you know, if that's for you, that's great, do it. But if it's not for you, don't think that that's the only way, because it's not. It's just not. And I think it's interesting to me that preparedness is really growing within beyond its original community. Let me put it that way. Where I see, and I've said this before, I know a lot more preparedness-minded people in the suburbs than I do in the country, and I'll get another person come on here for that. Oh, the country people are far more prepared than suburban people, and buddy, I will tell you, they are not. And instead of arguing, you do well to kind of, consider someone else's opinion occasionally, and maybe learn. And if you want to know about preparedness people, write 6 books about it, because they will spill out of the woodwork and tell you everything. And that's how I know the things I do, and, well, some of the things I do. And that's the things I base my opinions on. So now we're getting more into the suburbs proper. We have the Home Depot over there, and Sam's Club, and Costco's up here in a ways, and the great prepper stores, and Freddy's Burgers. What more could you need besides a Home Depot, a Sam's Club, and a Freddy's, right? And an Andy's. So anyway, I'll let you go there. I know that right now a lot of people are going, oh, I couldn't stand driving behind my truck on all that highway stuff and all. Yeah, I get it. If we didn't have to be up here leaving from our friend's house to go pick up our daughter, I wouldn't be on this highway either. I would be home relaxing. But you know what? We don't have to be on these highways all the time. So anyway, you all just consider that. Consider that there's many ways to and many places to prepare well. And that leads me smoothly into my sign-off, which is we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So you all think about it. If you're thinking about moving, really sit down and think. And don't just immediately be persuaded by, what a few people say. See what's right for you, and what's right for your lifestyle, and what's right for your budget. And I'll throw one more thing in, and that is that there are just a lot more people. That's one of the things that people also will say about living in the city or suburbs. And too many people. Well, depends on what kind of person you are, I guess. They'll say that you don't know any of your neighbors when you live in the suburbs. I have known all of my neighbors all of the years that I have lived in the suburbs, and Kelly is sitting here to the next to me. Let me ask you a question, honey. Have you always known your neighbors when you lived in the suburbs?
A lot of them.
A lot of them. That's right. And you know what? Some of them pretty good people. So there you have it. Hope you all enjoyed the ride. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.